How on the MakeCode forums.
I'm Richard, at Richard on the MakeCode forums.
And I'm Daryl, at Darzoo on the MakeCode forums.
Cool. So today, I think we are making a game with a series of boss battles. We don't have a particularly good reason for this besides that it sounded fun. So let me start by making a player character, and then you guys can maybe generate ideas for what setting and...
Well, first, should we talk a little bit about what kind of boss battles we're going to do? Like, what is the mechanic going to be?
Sure, yeah. So I think the basic setup of the game is that it's a shooter is what I was going to do. So you're on one side of the screen, you shoot projectiles, there's enemies who also shoot projectiles maybe coming at you. And then a boss is a bigger enemy that behaves maybe differently and is harder to beat.
Sure, okay. So kind of like Galaga or Gradius or those sorts of games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like
it. All right, Daryl, let's come up with a setting. Space is done. We can't do space.
Yeah, too much space. We already did something similar-ish with archers, so maybe not that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what could we do underwater? What sort of bosses and projectiles? There's lots of creatures underwater, so we could definitely come up with the sprites.
I feel like we've done underwater, haven't we?
A shooter
our
underwater?
shopping game was underwater, but not a...
I don't think we haven't done a whole lot.
Okay, sure, we can do that.
I'm also up for other things.
Oh, no, I'm with over underwater, but I feel like it's just going to be sharks and fish on one side and then us on the other side.
Well, I'm making a submarine, so we're
Sweet.
in it now.
All right. So submarine battling. I mean, take your pick. There's so many. Leviathan, sharks, octopusy stuff.
Sure, let's do a giant octopus with tentacles, not a kraken. It's gonna have a head.
All right.
But something like the octopus in the classic Game & Watch game Octopus.
Sure. What's that?
I don't know what that looks like.
Well, so you know Game & Watch?
Yes.
Those are the old Nintendo games that were in handhelds and they had crystal LCD screens. And they just kind of highlighted different parts of the screen. So there was one of those called Octopus, where you basically were in a diver's helmet and you had to go and get some things while dodging these tentacles that would come down and, like poke you.
Oh, okay, cool,
So
yeah.
If you played Smash Bros., Mr. Game & Watch's final smash is the Octopus from Octopus.
Ah.
I would not have known this.
Okay.
I see that you're not going with the classic yellow submarine look.
I was gonna make it like wooden. I don't know if that's
Oh.
going to come across.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Daryl, you show me a real yellow submarine.
Hey, I don't need firsthand experience. I heard it in a song, so.
Just because John, Paul, Ringo, and friends decided that submarines could be yellow doesn't mean that yellow submarines have actually ever existed.
Pretty sure I saw a nature documentary where the little deep sea thing was yellow.
Oh yeah, you are 100% right. Those are always yellow.
Are those submarines though? Technically, what is the bar for submarine?
I mean, they're under the marine.
Okay, well, I think a lot of things match that definition.
It's true. This is a good submarine.
I think if a person can go inside it and it goes underwater, it's a submarine.
Oh, right. I wanted this. All right, so I'm doing our standard start game stuff, which is we set a player. We're going to move the player with the buttons. And we are going to have, I think we don't need the camera follow if we're having, if we don't have a tile map in this one. So
What is that bubbles thing? I don't know if we've seen too many screen effects.
yeah, how do you guys feel about this? So a screen effect, we have a list of these, and they're just like particle effects that happen to the entire screen instead of coming from your sprite. So we have a blizzard one that's like snow. That's not. And then this bubbles one, which has bubbles coming from the bottom of the screen. Is it too much though?
Yeah. I would prefer it if it was toned down, but it might be fine. Ooh, I got an idea. What if you set the background color to be that light blue? I wonder if most of the bubbles will now disappear.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
So, and then to shoot projectiles, and I'm sure you guys have seen this before from any number of tutorials, you go into sprites, drag out this set projectile to projectile from my sprite, and we're going to make this the player with Vy of 0 and Vx of. And what does a submarine shoot?
I mean, torpedoes, but
Torpedoes.
I feel like, so what if we had like two different things you could fire? Maybe you can fire a normal thing, which isn't a torpedo, and then the torpedo is something that you can only fire a few times, but it does a lot of damage.
Ooh, okay. I like that, yeah. Is this a torpedo?
Also, I have an idea for these projectiles. What if instead of starting with the velocity, they start with no velocity but an acceleration? Because I feel like this is an image I see in submarines. It's like, the torpedo starts and then it just goes really fast.
Ooh, okay. I think maybe it should have, okay, let's try, so here's what it looks like now. Shoots out. Let's try fiddling with these numbers a little bit. So if I set it to maybe like 1 initially, then, and I give it an acceleration of like
100?
100?
We'll see.
All right, let's see. Ooh. I'm into that.
That's cool. I would up it a little bit, and if you're going to put the VX at 1, you might as well put it at 0.
Right.
Yeah. But, so do we have any like, yeah, see, I'm worried about the, well.
Wait,
because you get to pick
special
every direction.
We pick the initial, sorry?
I didn't realize we did that. Okay, never mind. Put it at 1.
That's cool. That might actually be a fun mechanic.
I think if we limited it to like a cone in front, we could do some randomization to make it. But for now, it'll be.
I think if you're saving up your torpedoes to fire at like the big enemy, it should go exactly where you fire it.
Yeah.
All right. So this is our torpedo, and I'm gonna make torpedo. Oh, sorry.
I think you should also go into add a particle effect for the torpedo.
Oh yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So
Torpedoes should be a big deal.
There's my sprite start effect, and so exactly the same as our screen bubbles effect, we can add an effect to a sprite, and it will fire, and it will have that effect also.
I mean, we are underwater.
Well, yeah.
How about trail?
Bubbles? Trail is a rainbow, though. No, that's hard to see.
The trail's a rainbow.
Actually, that's not bad.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Sweet. All right. So B button for torpedoes.
Wait, one thing real quick though. You should set the z-index of the projectile to be behind the submarine.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Or set the submarine's z-index to be.
Okay. I mean, I think it seems reasonable. Like the torpedo tube could be on the side.
Yeah.
Well, but it would be coming out of the submarine instead of appearing on top and then.
Oh yeah. You're totally right. Yeah.
That's true. All right. I'm going to set the submarine Z index to be higher. So player, Z depth. Now we've talked about before, Z depth just controls how close to you the.
That looks good. Nice.
All right. So what's our regular projectile?
How about just like, I don't know, something small?
Yeah.
Like a little yellow line, basically.
Divers. Little divers come out and
People?
swim.
Are you suggesting that?
No, just
That's a different direction, Daryl. What idea of it being yellow? It could just be like a small...
Harpoons?
Harpoons? Ooh. Okay.
Submarine has a very large hold.
Yeah. And we just stuffed that thing full of harpoons. What else do you need?
Yeah, there's actually only one person in there.
What does a harpoon look like? Probably.
It could look like a trident, maybe. I don't know.
Ooh.
Or no. Well,
Those are underwatery.
yeah.
It's a thing that exists in the real world.
Yes.
Yeah, Aquaman has one.
Okay, all right.
People use them for fishing somewhere.
Okay, I don't really know what I'm doing here, so.
We're firing pitchforks.
Yeah.
Looks great to me.
Let's see. I feel like maybe this will need to be a little bit thicker, but.
I like it.
Well, you can tell it's a projectile. Good enough for now. And I will make these guys a little disappear. Should these guys also have the acceleration thing, or do you think that's more of like a torpedo?
Yeah.
I think these ones just, start fast. So the difference is torpedoes propel themselves, right? So they need to build up their acceleration versus these are launched. So they are actually decelerating as soon as they leave, I think.
Oh man, the acceleration was such a good call, Daryl. These torpedoes are great.
I also think that we should, in addition to using on A button pressed, we should use the repeat event so you can hold down A.
Ooh, yes. Do you want to talk about the difference between pressed and repeat, Richard?
Yeah, so with pressed, it will fire when you press the button down. Repeat does basically what happens when you hold down a key on a keyboard. It'll type the key once, it'll wait a little bit, and then it'll start repeating that key a bunch of times. So if you want to do basically the same behavior as a keyboard, you need to use both pressed and repeat, because you'll use pressed for the first one, and then you use repeat to fire all of the ones afterwards. And I believe in the controller category, there's a block for configuring the behavior. Unless we removed it, which we might have.
I think that's only TypeScript.
We definitely used to have a block for it, but we might have removed it.
Okay.
All right, so A button pressed for that first trident, A button repeat for when we're holding down. So actually, yeah, you can kind of see the gap between that first and the following ones. B button pressed. Cool. Let's see. Let's make some small enemies so that we have like a basic, something you're shooting, something that can hit you, and then maybe we can tune like the delay between firing. I feel like. So.
You should be able to pause into that repeat, I believe. It should be fine.
Oh, okay. Let's try that. On A button repeat. I'll pause in here. Yeah, perfect.
Nice.
Do a little bit longer. How does that feel? More?
Yeah.
Less?
Do we need that on press 2? Like if you spam A, can you get faster than?
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. I don't like it in a game when you press A and it doesn't fire. But
Yeah, I think this is fine.
Cool.
Elite players can press A 1,000,000 times. That's as they can.
Right. Okay, so I think right now my plan is I'm going to make some enemies and then we'll do this torpedo limit stuff.
Sweet.
So on game update every 1 second, I'm going to kind enemy and
What if we just started with the boss?
yeah.
Because we already have lots of games that do random enemies. That's my thought.
Okay, so let's see. So the octopus you were describing, it's like a big octopus, and then you also have tentacles coming in from the sides, is what you're...
Well, so what I would think is cool is usually with a boss, you have a weak spot, right?
Mhm.
And that's what you're trying to hit. So what if the octopus had a giant eye?
Okay.
And there were tentacles coming from the top and bottom, and they were kind of coming in, and you had to shoot around those because they would block the bullets. Or like they'll just come down here and come up periodically. And you're trying to hit the eye.
Okay,
I like
sweet.
that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make a function just because if we're theoretically having multiple enemy bosses,
Octoboss.
Octoboss, yeah.
Nice.
Makes it sound like our octopus is a mobster.
All right, and then I will make this guy big. I don't know if this is big enough.
Well, why don't you make it like the height of the screen, but only so wide, and then it can just kind of be...
Oh, yeah, coming in and out.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the height of our screen, and then maybe... Woo, big sprite. All right. And our background is cyan, so this blue should be fine.
Whoa.
Oh, wait, no. Octopi are purple, right? That's something.
They can change color.
True. Okay. And...
I'm very excited to watch this.
oh boy, I'm not really gonna do much to this back half because I think the theory is you only see like this side of the octopus. So.
And then if the eye is the weak spot, you shouldn't draw it on this sprite. We should make it a second sprite.
Yeah. All right. Should not have done a border on this guy. Spots?
Sure, like rings.
Oh,
Just-
yeah, rings.
With like the dark purple maybe.
Dark purple? Cool. And then do a couple on here.
Well, the tentacles have all the little suction cups.
Yeah, I think those guys should be pink.
Nice.
All right.
Just out of curiosity, are you drawing this with a trackpad?
Yep. Okay. Close enough, I think. We're somewhere in, you know, the neighborhood of an octopus.
I think
Awesome.
it reads as an octopus.
All right. And put that guy there. Oh, it's so big.
It's awesome.
Right. And then I will also make an eye. What does the pupil, the iris, of an octopus look like?
I can look it up. I think it's pretty weird looking.
Okay.
It's like a line.
It looks like a horse's eye, if you remember what those look like.
It's like an eye, but it's got like a black visor, like LeVar Burton.
Horizontal slit. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try and draw this based on your guys' description, and we'll see. So the slit is black or color?
The slit is black. Everything else is the same color as the octopus.
Oh, like this?
Yeah.
But bigger, a little bit.
But bigger.
A little bit taller.
Is this what horses' eyes look like?
Yeah, they're creepy. Don't look
alarming. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. What if I did make it yellow though?
Ooh, yeah, I like it.
I think it doesn't need to be.
Oh my god,
that's great.
It's a big eye.
Oh man. Okay. Let's see. So now I should position this relative to our octopus. That should be a function, I guess. We're going to be changing the octopus position in like a game update, probably. So.
Yeah. Random question: What animal has the largest? What land animal has the largest eye?
Land animal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like including birds?
I mean, clearly a beholder.
What is a beholder?
Get out of here with that stuff.
D&D reference.
Yeah.
Elephant? I don't know.
I feel like elephant's face is the Putu bird or whatever has like a large eye. I don't know where it stacks.
The answer is ostrich.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the reason I chose land animal, because
They
it
do
very
have
surprised me.
poppy eyes.
Like, so this is like largest total, not largest relative to.
Nope, largest, but their eyes are bigger than their brains.
Are they bigger than their stomachs?
Yeah, I was gonna say. This seems like advice of some form.
Right, so,
largest of any animal, you could probably guess it's giant squids.
That makes sense.
I was gonna guess a whale, but giant squid makes way more sense.
All right. So I'm setting the octo eye position to the octopus X and Y minus some numbers. So it's an offset inside our octopus.
I think the eye. Okay. What if the eye was like bulging out a little bit from the octopus head?
Out from the octopus? That's true. They do come out. All right. Let's do a little bit more then.
This looks great, by the way. I'm very excited. What if we eventually add a blinking animation too?
Yes.
I can't decide if that's better or not. You make the call.
I'm gonna move. Oops, shouldn't have done that. I'm gonna move the octopus off the screen so we can see what it looks like, minus its weird back half.
Mm-hmm.
Set octopus X to.
Just try the screen width 160.
Oh yeah.
Oh no,
that's perfect.
Cool. All right. So then a little bit of octopus movement. On game update. So my plan for this is I'm going to maybe keep like a counter that's increasing and do like a sign of it. Or we could do a different thing if you guys have a better idea.
So what I would do is I would just every 500 milliseconds switch the velocity from positive to negative.
Yes, good call. Let's do that.
So a sine wave would look better.
It seems unnecessary. So we'll start the octopus moving down a little bit, and then
I think we'd also get a sine wave if we just flipped the acceleration, not the velocity.
I worry it'll drift if we do that. It might also drift with this.
Let's give it a shot. And we'll see. So I'm going to set the Vy to the negative. So to get a negative, I'm just going to do 0 minus, and this will be octopus Vy, and so that will just flip whatever it is. All right.
Yeah, let's try the acceleration thing. That might look better.
AY to Y.
One more.
20 is probably too little. Yep.
You left one drop down.
What did I do? Yes.
1 and 0 minus.
You are right. I think it doesn't have enough time to recover.
Yeah, set it something much higher and let's see what happens.
I think the same thing will.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I need to do like double the other direction? No, that doesn't.
Well, that'll be.
That'll be. What if the time was just a little bit longer? What happens then?
I think the problem is that it's enough to cancel out.
Yeah.
Bring it back up.
Yeah, the first oscillation needs to be.
Has to be half.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And this should be in a different game update.
All right, let's just do the velocity thing. I think it's the.
So we could. I think I could. We could use the SVG paths with a string. I know the commands off the top of my head. Probably make that work.
Let's. We haven't added the animation extension yet. Do we want to just go to the velocity thing and then maybe we can make it look better later?
Yeah, let's start with the velocity and then we'll circle back. What was the good? By. All right. Down.
Oh, I have another idea. It could follow something at the bottom of the screen and then follow something at the top of the screen. Although following always uses just velocity, right? Or does it do a natural acceleration?
I think it does. It might slingshot a little bit, but I'm not sure. But I'm not sure that would help.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't run off the screen that way.
So I'm just doing some position fiddling to make this guy look a little bit better.
I think it looks great.
60. I'm gonna do maybe 40.
Honestly, I think the tentacles going off the bottom of the screen isn't bad because if we do the thing where tentacles just come up from random parts, it's like you can't see where they end.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Right.
All right. All right. This feels good to me, I think.
Yeah.
All right. So then, did we want to have the eye move slightly separately?
No.
All right, we'll table that for now. And then maybe, okay, let's say when you hit a part of the octopus that's not the eye, a tentacle comes up, makes the octopus mad.
Oh, I like that.
That's good, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to say on sprite of kind projectile, overlaps other sprite of kind enemy. Then we will spawn a tentacle. Make this guy a little bit taller.
By the way, giant squid eyes are the size of soccer balls. They're crazy.
Jeez.
Need a a lot of seeing power to see in the dark down there. I don't know if that's how that works.
Probably. That makes sense to me.
It's like when your camera has a bigger sensor, you get more megapixels.
Yeah, but I heard that megapixels aren't really what you want to go for. You really just want to go to sharpness and clarity. Contrast is also really important. You know, a lot of stuff.
Aperture, focal distance, or something.
I
hope no one that knows photography is watching this.
Yeah, probably. I hope not. Oh, did your drawing get erased?
Yeah, I think I hit Control Z. We ran into a, but I'll just very quickly do another tentacle. Okay. The good thing is this one is not significantly different in quality. So if the projectile, which is our tridents or our torpedoes, hits the enemy, which is the main octopus body, then we're going to create a tentacle and have it come, I'm just going to say from the bottom for now. We can mirror this code to have it come from the top also. So I'll set the position to be a random X on the screen. Pick random. And it should come up, but it should stop when its bottom is at the base of the screen, right?
Right.
All right, let me. Oh. What happened there?
That was
yeah.
You're setting the octopus X.
Ah, yes.
Also, make sure you destroy the projectile.
Yes. So why would we need to destroy the projectile?
Well, I think you just illustrated it pretty well.
It keeps colliding.
Yes. So if you have an overlap event and you don't destroy it after the first overlap happens, well, the sprite's still going to be overlapping on the next frame, and so it's going to run another again and again and again until they're not overlapping or one of the sprites gets destroyed, or set to ghost or whatever.
Cool.
So maybe it shouldn't go to the screen width. Maybe it should go to the screen width minus 50.
Oh, I see. So you want it to not, yeah, good call. So this is to avoid it overlapping with where the octopus is.
Yeah, because you're already probably going to take damage if you hit the octopus anyway.
All right. So this animating up.
Yeah.
Maybe I could
I've got a pitch, but
okay.
So basically, the idea is you set the top to be the bottom of this screen, right? And then you set the velocity to be positive, and then in an on-game update, you see if any of them are positive and the bottom is above the top of the screen, then you reverse it, and then if it's going downwards and the top is off the screen, then you destroy it.
If it's going, oh, I see. So it pops up and then it is destroyed.
Yeah.
You could also turn on auto destroy and just have it start slightly above bottom.
And oh, I see. And then so I like the idea of it like moving a little bit, because it's like tentacly, right? So it goes up and then it comes down a little bit and then it destroys itself. That so we could do like a little bit of like a margin. Oh, right, it's off the screen right now. All right, and this one, I think I'm also going to try the acceleration thing. I think it looks really good when it was gradual like that.
I think you want AY. Probably a negative number.
Yes. What's our torpedo? 150. Let's try this for now. All right, so we have a game update here, and so I'm just gonna check the tentacles and say.
First, let's see what this looks like.
Oh yeah.
Our thing.
Hey.
I like it.
I think they should be a little bit faster.
It might need to be taller, otherwise I'm imagining you can just hang out in the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
You're right. Let's get this like insertion code done, and then I'll.
Yeah.
So on game update, we're going to loop over all existing tentacles. So that's for element value of list, and then I'm going to grab a list of all of our tentacles. So that's they all have the same kind, which is tentacle. And do a check. So if the bottom of this tentacle is less than the screen height, that means it's above.
Plus,
Right.
like, you don't want it to like be floating, so you might want to do screen width plus like 2 or 3 or something.
Not this one. Right. So grab the sprite. And so the value refers to the current tentacle that we're looking at. And grab the bottom of this guy. Less than screen height plus, I think 10 is probably good, especially if we make the tentacles a bit taller. Then I'm going to set its acceleration to 0 and velocity also to 0. Well, maybe
just stop and disappear.
Huh?
It's just going to stop and then disappear.
Well, that is what I was picturing, but you asked that question in a way that makes me. Should they just like retract off screen? Is that the?
That's what I was imagining.
All right.
You're the coder.
That's the.
As Abhijit would say, you decide what it is at the end of the day.
So we're gonna stop the velocity so that it's no longer moving, and we're going to just reverse its acceleration. This might have worked for our octopus movement as well.
Oh, just stopping the velocity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't think about that.
All right, so change it to the not x, say y.
I think if we had another derivative of acceleration, we could do something. I don't know.
All right, so we set the velocity to 0, so it stops moving, and then we reverse this acceleration so that it comes back down. And I'm also going to set auto destroy to true so that it destroys itself.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a smart way to do it.
All right, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I'm worried it's going to get stuck.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love it.
You want to set the VY to 0. You need to set it to
Slightly down.
Slightly down so that it definitely moves.
Yeah.
I
Down.
love it.
Yeah,
So the
great.
X position isn't changing, is it? Or was that just random chance? Oh,
The
there it is.
position is random, yeah.
Man, this boss looks so helpless. It's like, I'm gonna get you.
Make this taller. Double or
It
something?
probably needs to be half the screen height, right? Because if you have them top and bottom.
Double would be good.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, okay, cool. I think that is half the screen height, so we're in a good place.
All right. Well, the winning strategy is going to be to hang out in the middle. So I wonder if we want some sort of other attack that the boss can do.
Well, I mean, if we do make it so that the tentacles come from the top and the bottom, then nowhere is safe.
Yes, but middle is as good as you could possibly get, right?
Yeah, it also slows down in the middle, so it'll be slightly easier. There. This tentacle's crooked. We're fine. Hey.
This is great. I love it.
Okay. Let's do tentacle damage, because I think that will be quick. And then I think the pieces left are eye damage and also torpedo count. Tentacle, what happens? Takes a life?
Yeah. We've only got one player, so
Yeah.
as well.
So in the info category, we have this set life. So in our on start, I'm going to give us 3 lives to start with. And in here, I'm just going to decrease change life by -1, and I guess destroy the tentacle.
Well, you could also do a timer.
An invincibility section.
Yep.
Or you could just set its velocity to be negative and maybe push it below the player or something. I don't know. That sounds complicated.
I would say that if we do the timer trick like we did in the last stream, where we just make it a different sprite and we just change the player kind back when the timer ends, the code will be pretty simple and it'll.
Maybe I'll just change the tentacle kind so you can only run into each tentacle.
Right.
And
then you might need to set its exit velocity. Otherwise, it'll not get triggered.
Yeah.
Or you could have that array be a concatenation of 2 arrays.
Yes, I don't think we actually have an array join, but
you could duplicate the loop. Copy paste, not too bad.
All right. And
you can make a function.
I can make a function that takes in
this body.
Make a function that takes in a sprite.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So here, I'm going to right click and do edit function because I forgot to add in the sprite. And that adds in the sprite argument. So instead of value here, we're just going to do the sprite that we pass in to this function. And one more here. All right, and then we're just going to call it on all of our various tentacle types. So right click duplicate, change this to hit tentacle. All right.
Nice, I like it.
All right, cool. So now let's do torpedoes. So let's see. Say you have.
Should we do eye damage?
3. Oh, yes, that too. Okay.
Yeah. Whatever order.
Yeah, I'll do eye damage, and I think maybe we won't add a way to visualize enemy damage yet. So
what you could do is you could replace yellow with a different color, and then when it gets hit next time, you replace it. So you always swap yellow with red and red with yellow. And every time it gets hit, it flashes.
Yeah. I like that.
Or yellow and orange probably would look better.
Okay, so let's do that.
So what I was referring to there is inside of the image category, we have a block for switching all of the colors in an image to a different color. So you can say, take all of the yellow pixels and make them orange. So it's really great if you want to reuse your sprite and have, like, you know, in Mario, there was the green Koopa and the red Koopa, and the only difference was one had a green shell and one had a red shell. Well, and they had different behavior differences, but you didn't have to draw the sprite multiple times, so it's positive.
I forget, can you pause here?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to check to see what color it is currently, or it will flip itself. Well, okay, here. So right now I'm changing all yellow pixels to orange pixels. So I hit the eye and it changes. And I need to destroy the projectile, otherwise it also triggers our tentacle overlap code. Destroy projectile. Cool. And let's see, I'm gonna do an IHP for now. For how many hit points the eye has.
What's a hit point?
Hit point is like health. So you have, it's sort of like lives, I guess. You could start with like 10 hit points, and when you get down to 0, then you die. I don't know if you have
everyone knows
more detailed, but better.
Does everyone know that? I don't think everyone knows what a hit point is. We should take a poll on our team and see how many people get that. We can do it in the meeting after this.
Or if anyone on Mixer wants to chime in.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is a biased sample. It's a video game term.
So after I decrease the hit point, I'm going to check to see if it equals 0. And if it does, then you, theoretically, you would progress on to our next boss. I don't think we're going to have time for that. So we're just going to end the game. Game over, win.
I actually am curious how many people know the word hit point. It's not something that I ever considered as something that people wouldn't know until just now, because that's how I usually, you know, do these streams. But
yay, game. Okay.
So I still wonder if you can't just, can you just not do a pause and then switch the orange back?
Oh, I see. You just want to do like a flicker and then have it.
Yeah. Oh, what were you guys thinking?
Toggle.
Yep. Well, you can do a pause. That's totally fine.
But maybe the pause after you run all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And this should be orange and this should be yellow. All right, let's see how 100 milliseconds feels. A little short.
Does this also make it so you can't hit, like the boss gets a small invincibility period because this event can't trigger again?
No, the event can, because this is just the color.
Yes, it can actually get triggered again, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it might actually give them a little bit of invincibility, but that's not a bad mechanic. So I'm not opposed.
All right. Do we have time for torpedoes? I think yes.
Yeah.
It shouldn't take too long.
Yeah.
I think we need to display the torpedo count somewhere, I think is the main. So I'm going to also start with 3.
Well, one way to do it is to use the score.
Ooh, that's true. Do we have blocks for changing score display? No, that's okay.
And the other option would be you make a little torpedo sprite in the top corner and you call sprite say on it, and it'll just be saying the number that's left.
Ooh, yes. I love that.
And when you fire your last torpedo, it can have a little text bubble that says, "I'm the last one."
Maybe the submarine can say that, you know.
No, I like having your adorable little torpedo buddy.
All right, so if the torpedo count is greater than 0, then we make a torpedo and we change the torpedo count by -1. Start with 3 torpedoes, and I'm going to create a tiny torpedo. Mm. And how big are those hearts? 8 by 8? Whoops.
Yeah, you could also just reuse the image if you wanted.
The torpedo?
Mm-hmm.
It is small. That's true. Let's see how this guy goes. And this is probably, perfect. And I'm gonna set it to ghost, so I don't think that is going to cause any issues, but I don't know. It's good practice. So since this sprite is only for display, we don't want it to overlap with anything on the screen.
Yeah.
And
Shannon's right. It doesn't really make a difference in this game because we don't have a tile map, but it will make your game slightly faster. There's only one sprite, it doesn't really matter, but yeah, we don't even bother checking to see if there are overlaps if the sprite is set to ghost. So if you have a bunch of ghost sprites, it's way more efficient than having a bunch of regular sprites. That being said, if there's no overlap handlers that mention the sprite kind, I think we might just ignore overlaps altogether. So Joey would know that. He was here.
Miss Joey.
All right. And the torpedo display will say the number of torpedoes. And in order to say a number, we're going to have to grab this text join, which converts anything in it to a number. So
to a string.
Yes.
Nice. I like
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome.
Joined. Yeah? Better or worse? All right.
Sure.
And then after we change the torpedo count, we're just going to say it again. So if I hit B, shoots the torpedo, updates our count.
I love how the octopus tries to attack you.
Okay. So I think I could very quickly do the other direction of Tentacle in here. Okay, so we're going to set the Tentacle. We have all of this. We always want to destroy. Right. And these numbers will be different based on whether you're coming top or bottom. So I'm going to grab a math, percent chance, like Daryl said, and 50%, it'll be coming from the bottom, which is what we already have here. And I'm going to grab this guy, get rid of this. Okay, so actually the X is also duplicatable. So set the bottom of it to 0, so it's off the top of the screen. Set the AY, all of our velocity checks.
Oh yeah.
You could just do an OR and then you already have reverse code, right? So
yes, that's true. But I think
oh yeah,
will trigger. So we would also have to check the current.
Well, this isn't the cleanest code, but you could just check to see if the Y is less than half the height or greater than half the height, because they'll never cross that barrier.
Right, yeah. All right, let's do it. Okay, so the trick here to using the same sprite is we can also flip the image vertically. So I'm going to grab the image of the tentacle, and then inside this gray images jar, we can, so at least we don't have to duplicate that. All right. Let's see. So I think I should have them come out. Hey. And keep going because we don't have any sort of, reverse code. Cool. So then reverse code.
Why is it going so slow?
Why is it going so slow? So I think this is...
Oh, yeah, that's what's happening. It's triggering every frame.
Oh, they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to check to see if the...
Actually, why are they fighting? Shouldn't it just be that the reverse won?
I think...
No, this is right because it's setting the Vy to 10, so that's downwards, and it's setting the acceleration to be negative. So the velocity is what's happening, but it's flipping every frame because the bottom is above the screen height.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to check to see if the position of the sprite is below, so it's greater than. So
while Shannon is finishing this up, we should come up with a name for the game.
Yes, you guys
I
should.
feel like Octopus should be part of it.
You thought only squids could be giant. A little long.
Wonder why we're fighting this octopus, Maybe we're the bad guys.
Or, well, that's one choice to make, but then people would feel guilty playing our game.
It's true. I don't know. Maybe just Octopus boss.
Okay.
So I think some of this could also be have been factored out, but I think this should get the job done. All right, let's see. Oh man. All right. There it goes.
Oh, because you need the case where they're just doing their normal thing.
I think you might have reversed the conditions here. You should have
I'm checking the yes. Okay. Greater than 60 is bottom half of the screen. Less than 60 is top half of the screen. All right. One more go. Awesome.
I still feel like this octopus is very ineffectual, It's just sort of
I think if the tentacles were faster, maybe. Oop.
They could also just come at certain intervals.
Well, I think maybe we should do a secondary attack, like maybe it just constantly spews bubbles in your direction or something.
Yeah.
Also, what if, I think we could do this. Oh, wait, no, that'd be tricky. If the eye sort of bobbed in and out a little bit, then you would get less and less surface area to try and hit it.
Yeah. I think it would look good too if the eye was moving. Like it would.
Yeah.
But we are out of time for this. Wait, what was the name that you guys came up with?
Octopus.
Octopus. Okay. Cool. So yeah, here's our game. You have 3 lives. You can shoot harpoons or torpedoes. Right now the torpedoes don't do anything different, but they look cooler. Only have 3 torpedoes. And when you hit the eye 10 times, you win the game. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Shannon at Shakao on the MakeCode forums.
I'm Richard, at Richard on the MakeCode forums.
And I'm Daryl, at Darzoo on the MakeCode forums.